7. Good evening, all. I hope that I am audible.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Okay. We will wait for 2 or 3 minutes. Our resource person has already joined. We'll start very soon. Okay, now I think we can proceed to the formalities. Shefeeque sir, okay. Sita Lakshmi, you are there online?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Good evening all. We are having the third day of our online Malavya Mission Teacher Training Program on NEP 2020 Orientation and Sensitization, organized by Grace Valley College, Maravattam, Malappuram, Kerala, in association with UGC, MMPTC, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. At the outset, I would like to congratulate and thank the participants for the highly engaging participation yesterday and day before yesterday. Now, today we are having a very important theme, a live theme actually, under the NEP, which affect the day-to-day running of the colleges. Actually, we feel only after the implementation of FYUGP that NEP is there. Before that, we were discussing NEP only, but with the introduction of the FYUGP 4-year UG program, we have felt that there is NEP being implemented. And in different states, there may be some differences in the state of affairs, which I hope that the participants from different states will also share. So we have with us Dr. Shefeeque, who is in charge of the implementation of NEP in Kerala under the Kerala State Higher Education Council. Now I call upon Dr. Sita Lakshmi, the course coordinator, to offer the welcome address in this session. Sita Lakshmi, please.
Good evening, everybody. I think everyone are doing good, and I hope your day was good today. And we are on day 3 of the FTP program. And today we have our eminent and a prominent resource person with us, Dr. Shefeeque sir, with here. To know more about him, his designation is a research officer of the Kerala State Higher Education Council, and he is a member of a Higher Education Reforms Implement Cell NEP 2020, and his professional experiences are he's an assistant professor of Department of Political Science in MES Mambadu College. His academic contributions are he has done 7 publications, and to tell more, he has done 3 international presentations and 45 national presentations. And as a resource person, he has been a regular faculty at UGC HRDC programs of Kannur, Calicut, and Kerala universities. And he is an expert in curriculum design and outcome-based education. So in the last 2 days, I think we have got informations about NEP 2020 and known and unknown knowledges we have received. But I think on today's session with Dr. Shefeeque sir thoughts, I think as we have implemented FYUGP everywhere, I think you can use our resource person at your maximum. We think as teachers, we are familiar to FYUGP now, and we will have so many doubts and things to know about things. And I think we have got an expert person with us here, and I warmly welcome you, sir, to handle this session. And I think today's session, teachers will be very vigilant to use our resource person. Sir, please.
Thank you. Am I audible, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think, we got some participants from the outside the state as well, right?
Yes, sir. We have out of Kerala state also.
Okay, thank you. So, I was asked to speak on a very important topic as the principal and the Sri Lakshmi mentioned, I'm supposed to speak on a 4-year undergraduation program and outcome-based education. This topic, as you know, is very vast. So it's very difficult to sum up in 1.5 hours. And I don't want a monologue lecture. We do need a kind of an interactive session. So I'll not be speaking a lot on FYUGP, its technical aspects anymore, because I'm sure that all of you are very well aware of the technical aspects of FYUGP. Now we need to speak on the content part. So I would like to begin with a very brief discussion on how do you understand FYUGP, 4-year undergraduation program. So I wanted people from outside the state and also from the Grace Valley and other colleges within the state of Kerala. I just want to know, like, I can I call certain names, one Needu Chauhan, are you there? Needu Chauhan? Okay, fine. I mean, I just saw her name over here. Can someone from outside the Kerala explain us, like, what do you understand by 4-year undergraduation program, FYUGP? Anyone from outside the state of Kerala? Anyone? I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then Mujtaba Atif, please.
Yes.
What do you understand by FYUGP?
Sir, I think regarding apart from that curriculum structure based on like project-based learning or something like that.
Projects-based learning. Okay.
Yes.
Anyone like, Jemsina? Okay, Sita Lakshmi, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Can you explain us, like, what do you mean by FYUGP? Like, how do you understand FYUGP, 4-year undergraduation program?
I think it is a little bit freedom for the student to choose their career according to their interest.
Very good.
Still now we have been forcing them to choose, like if they have taking science, they have to learn science with maths and such
Yes.
curriculum. And now students have the freedom to choose the interest areas which they like.
Excellent, excellent. Anyone else? So now we have two opinions come, like one is project-based learning. Second is like flexibility for students or learners. That's what Sita Lakshmi tried to say. Anyone else? Anyone else to speak? Okay, fine. I think, see, at the outset, I would like to make it very clear that by 4-year undergraduation program, please don't understand it as an additional 1 year to the existing 3-year program. Wherever you are, within the Kerala or outside the Kerala, even the National Education Policy conceived and designed the FYUGP not as a program which makes the learners to go for another additional year after the 3rd year. That's not what we meant by 4-year undergraduation program. Because now already you know that we have come up with a system of N-1 semester where the learners can finish their degree program by acquiring additional credits through online mode. Now the UGC is going to implement the same in other states as well. So the whole point is, unlike the previous system, or unlike the system which we have now, in the sense which we have now in for our 2nd or 3rd year students, undergraduate students, FYUGP, in FYUGP, duration is not the important point. The whole point is acquiring the credits. I mean, that is a technical part. So if you want to get a certain number of, if you want to get a 3-year degree or degree, then you have to get 133 credits in the case of Kerala. That is different in other case. But minimum, as UGC says, one has to acquire 120 credits to get a degree. If you want an honors degree, then you have to get at least 160, where we kept in Kerala, we kept it as 177 credits. So that's a technical part. So if you acquire it in 3.5 years or like in 6 or 7 years, that's not the question. Whole point is it technically you need to acquire certain stipulated credits. But that's not just the point. We haven't introduced or implemented a FYUGP program not for that. For us, or like, if you, wherever you are, 4-year undergraduation program means a very significant changes in the way we teach, where the learners learn, students learn, and where the way we conduct examination and evaluation process. Or to be very precise, it is a sharp change in the existing curriculum transaction methods. That is the most important part. The whole point is through your program. By program, what we meant BA Economics, BSc Physics. That is what we call as program. And what is course? By course, we meant that literary theory, income tax, Indian Constitution, what we call it as courses. So the whole point is the learner has to acquire the stipulated outcome. What is an outcome? That is knowledge, skill, and aptitude. Hold these 3 points are there: knowledge, skill, and aptitude. So the whole point is the learner has to acquire the stipulated outcome through each program or each course. That is the most important point in the whole process of FYUGP, rather than achieving certain number of credits or studying for certain stipulated time frame. So for that, then the whole point is the responsibility of a teacher, as a teacher or as an instructor, is to ensure that the learner would acquire certain competencies through their programs or courses. That is most important in the FYUGP program. So they have to acquire minimum competency. So the point is, through competency, what we meant. If a student is doing BCom, then through BCom, the learner has to get certain stipulated knowledge part, which we naturally transact at this point of time. But not just knowledge part, the skill, the essential skill, and the aptitude that they have to evolve or develop through that particular program has to be transacted. So the point is, through the implementation of FYUGP, the existing mode of teaching, learning, and evaluation will have naturally be changed. We are forced to change it because in the existing system, in the previous system, or like, for your second or third years, nobody is demanding that, through the completion of this particular course, the learner must have certain skills and aptitude. Nobody is going to ask that. The whole point is we have to just finish the syllabus, go for a written exam, whatever you teach. See, I can give an example. In a English department, you teach different papers. You have papers on phonetics, you have papers on literary theory, you have papers on novels, poetry, and everything, right? Actually, the outcome of each segment is different. You teach phonetics. What is the outcome? The outcome is, it is to improve the pronunciation. On the other hand, if you're teaching literary theory, what is the whole purpose of teaching theory? The purpose of teaching theory is totally different from of phonetics. We teach literature in the sense, novels, poetries, and all things. There, the purpose is something which is very different. But in our previous system, we had same teaching, learning, and evaluation method, whatever you teach. Whatever you teach, you teach phonetics. The outcome is the students need to have a certain set of, the students should know to pronounce well. But you have same old classroom system. The examination method is written exam. And how could you ensure that, the learner after the completion of that particular course on phonetics able to pronounce correctly? So that was one of the major shortcomings or shortcomings of our previous system. So when we move to this new system of FYUGP, the teachers, as I understand all of you are teachers, your purpose is not just to finish the syllabus. That is not your purpose. Your objective or your responsibility as an instructor, as a teacher, is to make sure that your learner is acquiring the stipulated knowledge, skill, and aptitude through the entire course or program. Then what is most crucial part? Then the crucial part is you have to change your teaching methods. Mere classroom teachings won't help you to ensure the stipulated knowledge, skill, and aptitude. There, we have come up with the whole idea of this practicum, this project, this internship, these whole sort of different methods which now we have inculcated to the curriculum is to make sure that the learner would finish his undergraduation program, whether it is honors or other degree. It is only after acquiring the stipulated outcome or stipulated competency. So my request to all of you, all teachers over here, is to come out of the existing teaching methods. Now you have absolute autonomy to fix your teaching method. By FYUGP, what we meant is that if a teacher in Grace Valley College, for example, if a teacher of English department, for just say that teacher X is teaching a paper on American literature for second years this year, the teaching methods, the evaluation methods, the assessment methods he or she uses may be different from a teacher, white teacher who will be teaching the same course in the next year. So that is the level of autonomy now, we have provided for teachers. So these sort of workshops, these sort of orientation programs are primarily conducted to enable or empower the teachers to use multiple pedagogical tools, evaluation tools, and assessment tools in order to make sure that the learner in front of you acquire the stipulated outcome. When you teach in a college like Grace Valley, the teaching methods which you use may not be appropriate if you are teaching in a college in Bangalore city or in Cochin. Or if as a teacher, if you are teaching in some of the very remote part of India, in a village, there, if you're, for example, if you're teaching a paper titled Communication Skills in English, then the way you teach, the strategies you adopt to assess their competency level would be different if you are teaching the same paper in Cochin or in Bangalore or in Delhi, because the level of students are totally different. Unfortunately, we had a system where we were using same sort of teaching methods and evaluation methods for every student who are attending that. We know that the background of students are different, the cognitive levels of the students are different, the interests of the students are different, the students joins classes, courses, and the colleges for different purposes. But unfortunately, we were employing same teaching methods for everyone. So my prayer is that if you want the FYUGP to be successful, if you want to attain the larger objectives put forward by the FYUGP, then the whole point is that the teachers have to empower to a level where you have to use the appropriate teaching, learning, and evaluation tools according to each course, and most importantly, according to the background of the students who sits in front of you. So that is what is FYUGP. Please understand it in that way. Additional 1 year, that's a choice for the students. The students may come for the 4th year, the students may not come for the 4th year. That's not our concern at all. That's a concern of the government, that's a concern of the management, that's a concern of other parts. As teachers, you should have only one concern. That concern is not just finish the syllabus, conduct the exam, conduct the evaluation. That shouldn't be your concern. Your concern should be that whether the learner who sits in front of us, whether the student whom we teach acquire the stipulated outcome through that particular course or program. So the success of a teacher or the success of this FYUG program largely depends upon the initiatives taken by each instructor or teacher on their course. FYUGP won't be having a complete success or complete failure. It does largely depend upon the way each teacher put an effort on how one should approach his own her course. I can give you, I mean, due to shortage of time, I cannot give you the examples from every discipline, but I understand commerce, commerce is a very common discipline in our campuses. So I can give you an example from commerce. They just take the case of the paper titled entrepreneurship. That's a very common paper, and as entrepreneurship is one of the very major thrust area where the UGC, the state governments, and many other agencies are putting forward as well. So how a commerce, do we have any commerce teacher over here? Any commerce teacher over here, please? Can someone come forward? Sir, do you have commerce in your college? Grace Valley College?
Sure, we have commerce teachers here.
Yes.
Okay, Shahana, who is coming?
Shahana Tasneem. Okay.
Are you from commerce department?
Yes.
Okay, Shahana, can you tell us, how do you teach entrepreneurship development to the paper? I mean, you have the course of entrepreneurship development, right?
Yes.
So how do you teach that paper? I mean, how are you like teaching that paper before?
Based on the syllabus
Ah,
and some practical.
some?
Practical knowledge also.
So, I mean, what sort of practical? How do you transact that practical part?
Some successful entrepreneurial stories.
Stories and all. Okay, fine. See, what is the major purpose of teaching entrepreneurship development?
Encourage students to start their own venture and their dreams to reality.
So do you think that the existing way of teaching would enable the students to start a entrepreneurship scheme or something of that sort?
No.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So, I mean, that's very clear. I mean, that's not the problem of Shahana or anyone of us, because our existing system demands only that much. The existing system wants whatever you teach, as I told you before, whatever you teach, you just need to finish the syllabus. You just need to conduct an examination and come up with the results. But now, if you are teaching a course on entrepreneurship development, then what should be our focus? The focus is that, as Shahana teacher said, we should enable them to be an entrepreneur. So for that, only knowledge part is not sufficient. For an entrepreneur, what requires? It requires both knowledge, skill, and equally important part is aptitude. We have to develop aptitude. If you teach a course on communication skills, the student may having all knowledge. I mean, he must have imbibed all knowledge regarding the communication skills. And he also some sense. But if you have some kind of aversion to speak, stand up and speak. If you don't have that aptitude to speak, is there any point in that? No. So in that sense, that's why I'm saying that in certain cases, along with the knowledge and skill, aptitude is also equally important. So from now onwards, how do you teach entrepreneurship development? The first part is as every time, we have theory classes where we use multiple devices and we transact the theory. That's one part. Now the second and third part comes importantly. What is the second part? The second part is that we should, in order to have a first-hand experiences on how the startups, how this entrepreneurial sector works, we should take our learners to some of the local business areas or startups which is working near you. Like, so if it is we are in Malappuram, we can take students to Kinfra, we can take students to Cyberpark, which is near to Calicut. So in that sense, you have such opportunities everywhere near to your campuses. You should take students to that point. Please understand that that is also the part of your course. Don't take it as something extra, which is add-on or extension. No, it is not an extension program. It is an integral part of your course. Then next what? Then you have to, you can, or you may bring your alumni or local businessmen or entrepreneurs who are working around you to your campus to have an interaction with your students. So probably in that interaction, the students will have a clear-cut understanding on what sort of difficulties, what are the opportunities that they face. Because in the class, the Shahana teacher must maybe telling them that there are a lot of 100 ways of getting credits from different sources and all, MSME registrations and everything. But only when a real practitioner comes in front of them, then they will come to know the both part, the challenges which they might be facing in their day-to-day life. So in that sense, the classroom doesn't mean that you just have to transact the syllabus, and in order to develop aptitude.
Yes, sir. We are conducted that type of classes. Alumni.
Great. Then that's great. Then not
under
just
the
that.
EDC club and ED club.
No. Under ED club, you may do it for students. I'm not speaking of ED club. I'm speaking of the BCom course of entrepreneurship development.
The BCom students are the participants of the ED club.
No, in ED club, maybe the students from other departments may also join.
Yes.
That's a different thing.
Other departments also. And
Yeah. So that's
BCom
not my
students.
point. My point is that the students who opt a course of entrepreneurship development as part of their academic interest, they're opting this particular course. That's why I told you in the beginning, this is the visit to a cyberpark, the visit to a Kinfra, or bringing the resource person from the outside are not an extension activity. It should be the integral part of the course which you teach. Okay, that's the difference. Earlier we were doing it as the part of entrepreneurship development club. That's a different thing, which you may continue again now. But why do you want to see? Just think in the other way. You have a course on entrepreneurship development for a whole semester.
Yes.
And after doing a whole semester course on entrepreneurship development, again, you have to use all other methods in another club, entrepreneurship development club, right? So that shouldn't be the way. This should be the part of the syllabus, not just that. Couple of lectures, at least 2 or 3 lectures, you have to sit in the classroom, in the sense, you have to use the internet and other sources, and you should show the videos of very leading entrepreneurs, like, successful and failure experiences of, like, so if you're showing the story of Mukesh Ambani, then you should show them Anil Ambani as well. Because, then only they come to know the difference, right? If you are showing them a video of Byju's, then you should show both videos, like, his very previous videos where he was very profoundly speaking on his success stories, and the very recent videos, which speaks of how did he fail. So then that's the best way of because, in order to simulate the students, in order to develop an aptitude, we may not be in a position to bring Yusuf Ali or Ambani to our classrooms, right? But, we have other sources where we can, show their videos, show their classrooms and all those things. So the classroom part should be like this. But this is not just the classroom part. That's the point which I want to make. In FYUGP, there should be an integral connection with the classroom, with the evaluation process. That's why we call it as a continuous internal assessment. CIE, continuous internal assessment. Now we have only 2 things. Assignment, seminar, and normal internal examination, written examination. we are sure that we cannot ensure that the skill or the competency that the learner acquire in this particular course, when we cannot evaluate it only through a written examination, assignment, or a seminar. We may have to use different other methods. Now the teachers have absolute autonomy to adopt your own method of evaluation. It is not necessary that the teachers have to do assignments and make the students write assignments every time or conduct seminars or internal examinations. So in this case, you should, when you take the students to the field, you should tell the students that this is not just a field trip alone. This is your assessment as well. What is assessment? So you should tell them that you have 30 marks for internal, 30% is internal. Of that 30 marks, 10 marks will be going for this field visit. Then this field visit, how? Then, you will be telling them that, you have to present a report after the visit. So the report means, not just the written report. Some of the students might be preparing a video, a status video, or 1 or 2 minutes video, or something of that sort. Whatever it is, the whole point is that we are conducting a field trip. Through a field trip, we have an assessment that certain set of skills have to be checked through this whole process of field work. So then you can use any kind of as a teacher, you may tell that after the visit we will be having a discussion in the classroom on your visit. Even that discussion alone can be an assessment method. You may use peer review methods. You have now the absolute autonomy to take all such things. See, after showing them the videos of Byju's, you may conduct a group discussion in the classroom for 10 marks. Like, you may give a topic on what went wrong with Byju's. So there can be a discussion or a group discussion within the class, because, group discussions are very crucial these days. Because whenever a student complete their course and they go for a job, earlier they were only having written test or interview. Now group discussion has become a very important part of the selection process for employment. It is our responsibility to make sure that our learners, after completing their undergraduate program, is in a position to participate in a group discussion efficiently or effectively. Now we don't train them on any of them, because you maybe, as Shahana teacher said, like in your college may have a career guidance center which makes the student aware of how to participate in a group discussion. No, it is not just the responsibility of a career guidance cell. It is the responsibility of every teacher, every instructor, to make sure that the learner, once they complete their entire program in 3 or 4 years, should have certain skills that a graduate need to have. We call it as graduate attributes or program outcome. That is what is program outcome. Program outcome is not just something which they have written, like critical thinking, many arithmetical thinking or ecological sense. There are many things which the university written as program outcome. That is equally important. That is what we call it as graduate attribute. Once a student complete a course in Grace Valley College, once a student complete a course in some other university, he or she must have certain skills which were initially mentioned as graduate attributes. So how the students would develop graduate attribute? The graduate attributes would be developed only through the assessment methods or classroom exercises which we conduct. We cannot wait for any other club, any other extension activities to make sure that the learner would be able to having some kind of soft skills which would help them to improve, which would help them to attend an interview or present a paper or something of that sort. Every of these things, that's what I've in the beginning said, through this competency that the learner has to acquire or imbibe. So in that sense, the whole point is, through FYUGP, it is to make sure that the learner acquire certain level of competencies through the courses and program. For that, the teacher should come out of the existing teaching, learning, and evaluation process, and they should be in a position to use appropriate. They should be in a position to use appropriate pedagogical tools to make sure that the learner acquire the basic competency or outcome that was stipulated in the syllabus or curriculum. So this is what I want to mention as the first part. So if there are any doubts or suggestions, now the floor is open for discussion. Anyone want to intervene, Shahana? Do you want to add anything?
No, sir.
No. So now you have an idea about how to run a course on a ED, right? In the new system.
Yes.
Okay. So anyone else like Shruti? Shruti is there. Shruti, are you there? Mujitaba Atif, what do you teach?
Sir, I am from chemistry background, sir. I teach organic chemistry.
Okay, so I mean, can you just tell us, like, I mean, what sort of difference would you bring in your teaching method in this FYUGP system, unlike the previous system? What sort of difference would be there in your teaching?
Sir, usually I used to teach organic chemistry only, right?
Okay.
So all about reaction mechanisms and all.
Hmm.
So no, so we can change, like, sort of, instead of using the board, and we can show some animations like how bond rotations and how molecules can rotate. So based on 3D model, so we can develop that things.
Very good.
And regarding practicals, and usually students is doing in the labs.
Okay.
So apart from theory.
See, that's why that's why I'm telling that in order to ensure the flexibility for students, the autonomy of teachers is equally important in this whole process. That's why the government of Kerala has decided that the teachers should have an absolute autonomy to choose their teaching, learning, and evaluation tools. So in the first semester, we have reports that the teachers are not using much of the available options in front of you. But it's my request to all of you that, at least in the second sem onwards, you should start to make some significant changes in the way you teach, learn, and conduct examination. So I will show you some slides on evaluation soon. So this is the general introduction what I would like to make. Now I will be having a brief presentation. So can you see my slide? Hello? Is slides open?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it is seen.
Now?
Okay, it is okay now.
It's moving, right?
Yeah, it's moving, sir.
Okay, fine. See, I'm sure that all of you must be having an understanding on what is an academic credit, right? I told you in the beginning that from now onwards, academic credit is going to be an important part rather than the duration. So the teachers should have a clear-cut understanding on what is an academic credit. So if it's now you have two different types of course. One is foundation course, which carries 3 credits, and another one is practical courses, which carries major and minor courses, which carries 4 credits, right?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if it's a theory course, then the point is that one credit in a theory course means 15 hours of 15 teaching lectures. That is one theory course. One credit for a theory course. So if you have a 4-credit theory course, then naturally in a semester you will be having 15 into 4, 60 hours. So the whole point is the whole challenge before a teacher is that to make sure that your learner will acquire the stipulated outcome which has been stipulated in the syllabus within these 60 hours. If it is a practical, one practical credit means 30 hours. So naturally, if you have a course of like 3+1, like, if it's a course of chemistry where both theory and practical comes, then it might be written like a 3+1. That means in a week, you will be having 3 theory hours and 2 practical hours. So one practical means one credit of practical means 30 hours. That is 15 into 2. So first point is that you need to have an understanding on the credit, because every time the teachers complains that uh, every time teachers complains that we don't get time to finish the course, we don't get time to finish the syllabus, the university should extend the exam. You know why it is happening? Because we don't never ever we consider the outcome part. In the syllabus, it might be written as, you need to just make the sure understand certain concepts. But as teacher, what you would do? You may be like, discussing it for a very long time, making the students to evaluate that particular process. The syllabus may be demanding only to make understand what exactly is, or like apply certain parts. And in the initial modules, in the first or second modules, we spend too much of time. The outcome would be different, but we make them enable the students to evaluate that particular concept through taking too much of classes. And at the end of the day, what would happen? You won't be having sufficient time to finish the course. So that's why every one of you should have a clear understanding on outcome-based education. That is very crucial. Because now the system is completely moving to an outcome-based education model. The examinations have, now your syllabus have program outcome, program specific outcome, course outcome. That is already written in your syllabus. I'm sure that all of you must know that. What is your responsibility? Your responsibility as a teacher is to make sure that the student acquire that particular outcome. Then for that, you need to know Bloom's revised taxonomy. Because whenever you prepare question for internal assessments, whenever you question for, not just for internal examination, for any kind of internal assessment, you should prepare it based on the outcome-based education model. The new university question paper that comes as a part of question bank would be completely based on OBE, outcome-based education model. So I will just show you, due to shortage of time, I may not be able to go to every single slides. I'll be sharing these slides. You can see my slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is okay, fine. Can you see this flow chart, this chart?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, there are 6 levels of cognitive domains which we need to understand. Any content which we teach, that has 6 parts. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. See, as a teacher, we can what is remember? The remember means, the learner is able to recall, restate, and remember learned information. So when you teach something, there are certain parts which the learner has to remember. Second is most important, understand. The student grasps meaning and information by interpreting and translating what has been learned. That is the most important part of an undergraduate program, because the students need to understand the concepts. Whatever you teach, the understanding of the concept is most important part, because only based on that the students will be able to apply, analyze, or evaluate whatever it comes. Third is apply. Once you understand certain thing, then then you can use that information in a context different from that in which it was learned. That is, you can apply it. After the application, that comes analyze. The student breaks the learned information into parts to best understand that information. Then comes evaluate part. What is evaluate? The student makes decisions based on in-depth reflection, criticism, and assessment. The final part is create. The student creates new ideas and information using what previously has been learned. So this particular slide is very important. Now, I will explain it with an example. I teach political science. I am a political science teacher. So how can I use all these 6 cognitive domains in? See, please try to understand that the cognitive level which we choose should be based on a thorough understanding of the cognitive level and capacity of our learners, students. As teacher, I may be able to take everything to the evaluate level, but the learner, the student cannot take everything to the evaluate level. See, I will tell you an example. As I told you, I teach political science, and just take the case of freedom of expression, because the Indian Constitution is a very important part of our course. So when I teach Indian Constitution, there comes Article 19, right? In Article 19, there's a concept of freedom of expression. Then when I teach freedom of expression, then the students have to remember certain things. What? Freedom of expression comes in the Article 19 of Indian Constitution. It is part of Article G. And there are certain things which every student have to remember. Generally, that's what we ask in the fill in the blanks. We ask fill in the blanks question in order to test that the learner can remember certain things. So that's very important, that's very important. Our end, see, the larger purpose of our examination is not to know that the learner has imbibed or by heart all the contents which we taught. No, we are actually assessing certain cognitive skills that the learner has imbibed. That is, first thing is what? Remember. So remember, when I teach, I will tell them, this comes up out of Indian Constitution, Article 19, Article 19G, freedom of expression is so and so, it is connected with so and so cases. All such things have to be kept in the remember by the student. That is remember. Then comes the part of understanding. What is freedom of expression? That is most crucial part, right? Whatever you teach, the fundamental point is that this learner has to understand the basic concept or basic principle. Only through the understanding of the basic principle, the student will be able to apply or analyze it in the next level. Then, I will be teaching them what is freedom of expression as per the Constitution, as per the different literature available, as per the different discourses and discussion happen at the different levels. I'll be making them understand the whole concept of what is freedom of expression. Generally, we check this understanding level when we put questions in this short answer, such things, right? Then comes the application level. So once I make them understand that what is freedom of expression, then I will start to apply into different contexts. Then I will tell that, see, you must be heard of a debate on M.F. Hussein's painting. You must be heard of the whole debate on Kiss of Love. And there are many other things, that we connect with the freedom of expression. So as a teacher, I may be applying into different contexts to make sure that the learner would be able to apply their learned understanding to different contexts. As a social science student, they are supposed to understand the concepts in different social conditions and social situations. So that is application part. Once I apply it, then comes the analyze part. What is the analysis? Then, for example, I'll be teaching them based on something on Kiss of Love movement. Then, I will be telling that, as per the freedom of expression concept, this comes this thing is there, then there will be difference of opinion on that. There are certain criticism. I will be telling them everything. Then analyze. What is the analyze part? Analyze part is that these are the arguments in favor of Kiss of Love movement. These are the arguments in which is against the Kiss of Love movement. So that is analyze. So whenever we do analysis, the analysis part is more or less same for all of us. Then comes the evaluate. Evaluate. What is the evaluation? Evaluation means, our subject position comes. So when you ask a particular student, what is freedom of expression? Almost every student in the classroom says that this is for freedom of expression. And if you ask them to apply it into particular context, they neatly apply it to that thing. And if you ask them a question, analyze the Kiss of Love movement, then they will be telling that the Kiss of Love movement is this thing. Then, there are certain arguments in favor of that. There are certain things against it. Fine. But if you ask them to evaluate the Kiss of Love movement, then the students will be having different explanations, different answers. Because one student may approve or agree with the Kiss of Love movement as a freedom of expression. One student says that, no, I cannot. They may be having different justifications, but both answers are correct in a way or the other in social sciences. That is evaluation. Then comes create. Create is what? Create is nothing, see, we will be ending up in such a conclusion that we may end up in such a conclusion that the existing theory or discourses on freedom of expression is not sufficient enough to address the new movement that comes as part of this social liberal movements. Then we need more advanced theories on freedom of expression. That is the new theory on freedom of expression, which we call as create. But the point is, as a teacher, I may be able to put all these things. But if I want to touch all these parts in detail, I may be require some 10 or 15 classes from understanding to create level. So there comes the outcome part, very important. If you are teaching in a first year class, you need not to go to every movement, you need not to make every sort of analysis. In the first year, that is level 100, which you teach now. Level 100, you just need to make them understand what is the concept. Understanding part is most important. If you are teaching in a second year, if I am teaching a paper in third year of a degree, then I will be like, analyze, I will be like, moving into analysis part or like I will be moving into even an evaluate part. The create or evaluate part only come if we are teaching in final or third year or fourth year. It won't come in the initial years because the students will not be in a position where they can, evaluate the process in a very detailed manner in the very first year. So the whole point is that we need to understand this Bloom's taxonomy in order to transact and in order to ensure that the correct and stipulated outcome is being acquired by the student. So if your syllabus demands that outcome is understanding, you need not to teach them in evaluate level, because you may need only 2 lectures to make sure the student understands certain concept. But if you want to make them evaluate a particular process, you may need 6 or 7 lectures. So that's what I told you before. Generally, a mistake what's happening to our teachers is that we never ever look at the outcome part. We have our own way of doing things. So when we get syllabus in the first module, we will go to the level of extension of create or evaluate, which may take most of the time of our entire semester. So we look at the outcome in the syllabus. That is very important. If the outcome says application, then you need to teach them only up to application. So if you want to apply, then first they have to understand, then application. I'm sure that if the outcome says application, No question on evaluate level comes on that part. We have given a clear instruction to the universities that you should prepare the questions only based on the outcome. So if the outcome is marked as understanding, and if the university asks a question on evaluate, that doesn't make any sense. So outcome is very important as a teacher as well, because when you prepare a question for internal assessment, then you need to look at the outcome part very properly. And if the outcome part is just based on the cognitive level understanding and application, your question should also be on understanding and application level. I have given lots of action verbs over here, and you should use these action verbs to prepare questions. That is very important, because can you see this classifying, comparing, exemplifying, explaining? There is a specific slide on this. See, whenever you prepare a question paper, don't give them open-ended steps. The question should be very clear. The question should correctly point out what's cognitive level you are assessing or testing. So it should be like, you can use any of these action verbs to test their particular cognitive level. So in a theory class, if you teach 5 theories or 10 theories, you may be asking only one theory for essay question. So what is the purpose of asking a theory question, essay question? The whole purpose of asking a theory essay question is to make sure that whether learner would be able to evaluate a particular theory. So you may ask one theory and you may not be asking other 9 theories, but that doesn't matter. The whole point is that our purpose is that along with understanding the basic concept of theory, the evaluation skill, the critical thinking skill, that is most crucial. We are giving questions on all these attributes. All these attributes are connected with a certain type of competency level. So if you are asking, if you are asking a question in create level, which we want prefer, what does it mean? That means you are testing the novelty of a student, that the student would be able to think out of the box. How to what level the student would be able to think out of the box and come up with new ideas. So that's what you're testing when you ask a question on create level. So the point is the whole point of conducting an examination, the whole point of conducting an evaluation is not just to check whether the student have understand that particular concept or whether they are not to apply that particular concept. Through that process, actually, we are testing certain level of cognitive level, which the learner has to acquire as part of their course or program. So outcome-based education is extremely crucial. After this session, I can share you this PPT. Along with this PPT, I will share you an handbook which was prepared by Higher Education Council for outcome-based education. That's a very extensive book. There are lots of examples in it. All of you should go through it, because without having a understanding on outcome-based education, you cannot survive as a teacher now onwards. Because the entire system is fastly moving towards outcome-based education model. That's why OBE, I kept OBE along with FYUGP. You cannot split FYUGP and OBE. Both are interconnected. Because the whole idea of coming up with FYUGP in Kerala or in anywhere in the country is not an additional, not make the learner learn for one more year. The whole point is acquiring the competencies and outcomes. So there comes the importance of outcome-based education. So now, if you have any doubts or something, you may please ask, or if you have any comments also, please. Needu Chauhan. Hello, Mujtaba, please.
Sir, I just have one doubt, sir.
Hmm.
So regarding what you said, like cognitive levels. So if you are like preparing one syllabus, so we have to fix that each unit. We can fix that cognitive levels, right?
Yes.
Or each units we can fix, right? Like K1, K2, K3.
What?
Like each unit we can fix our own cognitive levels, right? Like regarding like K1, K2, we can fix like that, right?
No, you have to, because at the first, you need to have an understanding about the background of the students that comes to your campus.
Understood. Okay,
Because
okay,
if the level of the students are below average, in the sense, if they're coming from, I mean, if their schoolings are not that level, not up to that level, where they didn't have sufficient exposure, then you
Okay,
cannot
sir.
keep a evaluate your application level in the very first year or second year itself. Because there, you have to put up more efforts in the understanding level itself.
Okay, understood. Why?
So
Because
that's
sir,
why, I mean, the one advantage of autonomous colleges over universities regarding this particular aspect, because whenever a university, autonomous colleges prepare a syllabus, they largely have an understanding about the background of their student, and they can easily, like, fix the competencies and outcomes. But when you
okay,
prepare a syllabus course for university, but the problem is, like, I'm a part of political science board. I need to keep the mind of the aspirations of the students in the very rural background and also in the urban settings, because a university like Calicut is coming from Calicut to the Wayanad, Calicut, Malappuram, Palakkad, and Thrissur. So the background of the students are totally different. The exposure of the students are totally different, because
yes,
we
yes,
have instances where the teachers were telling the both angles. At one level, many teachers says that the contents which we put up in our syllabus, or the outcome which we stipulated, is very, I mean, it's a very Herculean task for them to make sure that the learners have to acquire it, because the level of the students are not that. I mean, it's very difficult for them to
that's what,
make
sir.
them. At the same time, the syllabus or the course or the outcome is not at all
Yes,
challenging for many other students. They find it very, like, awkward, in the sense, why do we study all these things? Because we already knew all these things, and there is nothing new in this particular paper. So these both part are there. So the one advantage of the autonomous college is that, because in an autonomous college, more or less the students' background would be same, because the students come from a same locality. So in that sense,
yeah, understood.
it's very easy for them to fix the outcome and arrange the classes accordingly.
Okay, that's what, sir. Because one of the device meeting, I have seen that they have mentioned K6 or K5, K6, like creative levels. So, like what you
Yeah.
said, it is up
No,
to
no.
the higher
See,
levels.
in the first place, we cannot give a course. We cannot give a question on create level, because in a
Yeah,
2 hour
exactly.
examination, one cannot create anything, right? To the
Yes,
maximum,
yes, that's
you
what.
can ask evaluate level.
Yeah, that's what,
You,
sir. Yes.
if you want to ask a question from the create level, then you have to give them a project or something of that sort, because that,
Yes,
like,
sir.
if you're teaching a computer science, if you're teaching a chemistry itself, if you want them to come up with something new, I mean, that's a create, right? Create means
Yes.
something, it's not reproducing what is already existing there, right? then
Yes.
then you have to use the segments like projects or internships or something of that sort to uh, make your learner to come up with something new, or that is a create level.
Yes, understood, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Sridhar
Sir,
Lakshmi? Oh, sorry, Jayaprakash, please.
I am Jayprakash. I'm from Grace Valley College itself,
Okay.
and I am a political science teacher.
Okay, great. Okay.
And in the fourth semester, we have a text that's called Political Science Ideas and Concepts and Ideologies.
Hmm.
And the students found the book is very tough. But
What?
I like to explain, or I
Hmm.
explain my maximum to understand them.
Hmm.
But I think the cognitive level of the student is far different from the cognitive level of the teacher.
Of course. Hmm.
So how can you please explain how can we, like teachers of political science, easily explain the ideologies that is exhibited in the book or written in the book? law, liberty, equality. There are many things like that.
Okay, okay.
But at the same time, the first
See,
year's book, that basic understanding of political science, that's very easy. We can easily explain.
okay. See, the point is that we need to see how to teach theory itself is one of the major concerns before us. Actually, now we have decided that every teacher should undergo a training by a government by the university soon. And one of the major modules which we keep for that particular training is that how to teach or how to transact theory, not just in social sciences, in sciences or anywhere, like for that matter. See, teaching theories, like especially ideologies, ideas, concepts. Now we have only the system of this lecture method. Well, now we need to use immersive media. We need to use group discussion methods, or rather than this monologue lecture from the monologue lecture models, we need to make students to intervene or actively participating in the whole process of teaching theory or teaching ideas.
Participating the students in the class. Yeah, I am participating the students in the class. The text.
See, there comes the most important part. How to make them understand the theory, largely comes from 2%. One point is that, in order to understand the theory, they have to read. That's very crucial part. Because, without reading or without listening at least to the lectures, you cannot understand the basic theory, right? Because in the whole process, theory may use different. So the point is that the teaching in the teaching methods, like quizzes, group discussions, or you need to make them encourage the questions. Use literary theories and literary works. That is very crucial. Movies, parts of the movies. I have used recently, recently when I was teaching this whole Marxism part of when at undergraduation level, I was using a part of a clip of N. Pilla, one of the eminent theater artists. So he was explaining, what are the differences between communism, socialism, and Marxism. So he was using a very basic example, and as a teacher, he may not be able to use that. So the digital contents are very helpful, especially in the whole idea of teaching this. The point is, never ever. One point is that if you're teaching a theory part in the first year, never ever take this to application or analyze level. Don't do that ever. Always keep it in the understanding level. And the point is make sure that they understand the particular concept. And the larger assessment methods which we have followed, it shouldn't be written exam or something of that sort. That we should identify some sort of which make them understanding concept. So it differs. Now what we have done is now we have provided that absolute autonomy for teachers to choose. That's why we said that the teachers have that particular autonomy to choose their teaching, learning, and evaluation. Plus, the 20% of the syllabus is prepared by each teacher in FYUGP, right?
Okay.
That particular 20% part, that open-ended part, you should use that as well. Because that 20% you use to teach another new theory. That particular time, because one major constraint when we teach ideas and concepts, the time constraints that. Sometimes we may have more time for certain things. So this 20% of that particular period course may be used to come up with an innovative methods as well. So in that sense, we use multiple ways to teach theory, but this is one of the major challenges which we have taken up. We are coming up with a handbook on how to teach theory, especially.
That's the thing. That's right. And when we go to analysis part, like system analysis, Then major concept analysis like power, influence, authority, legitimacy, etc. So
Always use examples. Always use examples.
use example.
Ask the students to illustrate the concept through examples. Make them present certain things, or make them prepare videos or something of that sort. They can use memes. They can use trolls. Trolls. I mean, why don't you ask the student? Why don't you ask the students to prepare trolls? Because that is also one way of assessment now onwards. Because the very critical thinking applications. See, there are many cognitive levels which you can prepare a tool in a very open place, right? You need to have you need to put a lot of thoughts on preparing a tool. So that's how we should make the ideas and concepts this analyze part.
Pardon?
That's how I mean we have to employ such innovative tools to analyze. I mean, so if it's a power, authority, right? I mean, that's the example you are given, right? So the best part is using multiple different teaching tools.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So then one last thing which I want to share is there are lots of examples and everything on this board. I will share this. Okay. Assessment. See, regarding the assessment, I would like to mention it very clear that assessments must be based on some rubrics. Rubrics, what are rubrics? Rubrics are a criteria and standards set out for assessing different levels of performance. So, see, now, okay, we need a little discussion before I go for this. I wanted to know from any of the teacher, like how do you assess a particular assignment or seminar now? How do you give marks for an assignment? Can someone tell me? How do you give marks for an assignment?
If it is proportionate to the questions given to the
So
students.
what are you looking at? Like content, right?
Yes. We are looking content.
That's a problem. See, now onwards, especially in FYUGP, when you go for assessment, the content shouldn't be the only criteria for assessment. That shouldn't be the only rubrics for assessment. Because
So
we are giving. Sida, please.
So we used to take the content and the neatness and the punctuality they are keeping. So
very good. That's the three things: content, punctuality. Only one rubrics which we generally practice as punctuality. If we ask them to submit by 5 o'clock on Monday, then we give them 10 marks. If it is on Tuesday, then we give it 8, right? That's how we often do it. So punctuality is one major rubrics which you have mentioned. But now onwards, see, first of all, you should tell the students, why are you giving an assignment? Or why are you conducting a group discussion? Why are you asking the student to prepare a troll? Why are you asking the students to go for a field visit and prepare a project report or a video presentation? If it's a course which is connected with the society or like zoology, botany or whatever it is. You should tell them that what sort of cognitive level you are testing through that particular point in the initial point itself. That you should tell them when you are asking them to prepare a assignment, you should tell them that this particular assignment on this particular topic is given in order to ensure that you have a cognitive level of understanding and applying that particular concept or by and large the concepts. That is very important. So you should tell in the beginning, very beginning itself, what is the whole purpose of doing that particular exercise. So when you are conducting a assignment, when you are conducting an assignment, seminar, whatever you are conducting, now onwards, you should tell them that there are certain rubrics. So if you are giving an assignment, then you should tell them that this assignment carries 10 marks, of which these are just examples. Okay, structure goes for 30%. 30% will go for content. 20% will go for clarity. 20% will go for neatness. I mean, these are just examples, but all of you should create your own level of rubrics to assess that particular assignment or seminar or whatever assessment method you are using. That is very important. Like when you when you prepare the question, also, there are, it should be on a complete sentence. You should use appropriate cognitive level. You should prepare in such a way to test various cognitive levels of the student. You should use appropriate action verbs. And question should be devoid of any conflicts or confusing statements. It shouldn't be there. And even if you can add some guides or aids which can help to reach into proper answers, that's fine. If you are asking questions on the higher level, like, if you're asking for an evaluate level or a create level, it can be complex, but it shouldn't be complicated. So whenever you prepare question papers, it should be on simple words as possible. So you should give them word limit. I mean, I have given you lots of examples over here. Please have a look. See, the point is, what I am trying to make is that you are giving a particular assignment, seminar, or whatever internal assessment tool in order to ensure that, the learner has acquired certain stipulated competency. That is important. The topic you may give maybe may or may not have relevance. You may teach 10 theories and you are giving only one. That doesn't mean that all the other 9 are not important, right? They're equally important, but we are giving only one. So why are we giving? So tomorrow when they go for a job, they may be asked to prepare a project report. They may be asked to make a presentation. They may be asked to make a questionnaire. They may be asked to do a kind of social interaction or something of that sort. So in that scenario, they should know it, right? They should know all these things from their degree level or program. It's through the program itself. So before giving assignment, before giving seminar, before giving projects, before giving any of the activities, you should tell them how are you going to assess? What are the rubrics? And you should tell them how to prepare a project. What is the structure? What should be the structure? What should be the how can you bring clarity into it? Content, because in these days it's not difficult to get content because the contents are available everywhere in their mobile, in the internet, everywhere. The content part is there. The whole point is how are they going to present? Because in AI, they can get a presentation answer, right? So you need to make them test, make them have a very clear understanding on how to present a particular concept. So please ask yourself, how many of you have told the students how to prepare a seminar, how to prepare an assignment? You have given only them topic. Sita Lakshmi, please.
Yes, sir, we used to do that. When we give seminars,
Very good.
we tell them how to do it and how to present the seminar reports. We used to tell them.
Excellent. So you should make it. You should improvise it in a more better manner. And when you give them marks, if you're giving them 10 marks, then that 10 marks must be split into different rubrics. And you should tell each and every student, like, you got 6 for this because there is no clarity. So that's why out of 2 I kept for clarity, I have cut 1 mark. The structure is not up to mark. This doesn't make any sense. That's why I gave 3 marks for clarity. Structure. I gave only 2 marks. And And that's the way, that's the only purpose of conducting such exercises. So you may not want them to write 10 or 15 pages. If they write only 2 or 3 pages, that is fine. But the whole point is that you should tell the students like where they went wrong, or what is their shortcomings, what are their strengths, how can they improve. So if you conduct a group discussion in your class, you should tell them, see, out of 10 marks, 1 mark is for listening to others' arguments. Group discussion doesn't mean that you have to speak every time. You have to counter and attack everyone. No, that's not the whole idea of group discussion, because group discussion is very crucial, because it is to ensure that whether you can be a part of a team, right? Whether you can work as a part of team. So when you work in a team, it is very essential that you listen to others as well, right? Rather than you just making your own points. So that carries mark. So you may give 9 marks for a student and tell them that it's good, your arguments were fine, you have presented it very well, your language is good, everything is fine, but unfortunately you didn't listen to what others are saying. You were constantly interrupting the others. That's why you got 1 mark. Fine, next time he won't make that mistake. So that's the whole point of conducting such exercises. So it's almost 4:55. I want to finish it now. So the point is, this particular slide, this has everything. This is my contact number. I think it has already been circulated to you. If you have any doubts, please WhatsApp me. Send me a voice, I can assure you, or you can send me a mail as well. My only request is that I will share the slides today itself. Please go through it today or tomorrow itself. Otherwise, you won't get a continuity, because due to I have my slides, I think 70 plus slides. I don't have time to go through everything now. So that's why I have taken only very few slides and explained to you. But each and every slides are interconnected, and it is very equally important. Please have a look. We have 5 more minutes left. If anyone wants to make any comment or suggestions, mostly welcome. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the
Yes,
wonderful.
okay, it's okay. Actually, we have an example from Kerala. FYUGP has been implemented in Kerala. Some changes has been made in the original UGC regulations because we are not giving the multiple entry and multiple exit in the FYUGP.
We are giving multiple entry,
but not exit in
only at third year. Yes.
At the third year, that issue is there, and I think UGC is taking it as a model also. That is an impression that we have get now. Many of the reforms that has been implemented in Kerala, UGC is taking as a model for other states also. So I request the participants from other states to go through these slides shared by Shefeeque sir, because you will get an idea how it is being implemented in Kerala, because he has spoken mainly focused on Kerala basis. But I know there are some differences in other states as well.
The difference is largely only on structural
change. That's
by content, I mean, this is what we meant. But even if the UGC meant to bring the larger changes in the way we transact the curriculum, that's the most crucial part of this entire reforms.
Okay. So, friends, I think it is time to conclude now. Now we will have the vote of thanks by Ms. Jamshina, Assistant Professor in English and the member of the organizing committee of the Grace Valley College, to propose the vote of thanks in this session. Ms. Jamshina, you are there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes, yes, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, everyone. on behalf of Grace Valley College and MMTC Aligarh Muslim University, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Shefeeque sir for your insightful section on FYUGP and OBE. Sir, your expertise provided us a valuable perspective to enhance our academic practices. I also express our sincere thanks to our principal Usman sir for your constant support and guidance. And thanks to Sita Lakshmi ma'am, the coordinator of this program, for your warm welcoming address. And a big thanks to all participants for your active engagement, which made the section truly meaningful. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.
So friends, we will have a short recess of 30 minutes and we will again meet at 5:30 p.m. To interact with Professor M.N.M. Mustafa on interconnectivity of teaching and research. So thank you all. See you all. Okay.